Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 5 in the NFL. We're talking right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, the one capper I do calls with who doesn't pick his own games. He takes whatever I ask him to take, and sometimes these are just tough games that I wish I didn't have to ask him to take, but he takes whatever I ask, and this is one of those games, Atlanta Giants. We'll see what he has to say about it. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back.
Well, thank you, Peter.
All right, so you take all these games that I ask you to take, I guess, because one, it gives you an opportunity to, brag about your long-term record of success in the industry. Two, I guess, because you have great confidence as a handicapper, you're willing to, give your analysis, let your analysis speak for itself, and you're willing to take even the toughest games that no one else wants to touch, right?
Yeah, no, Peter, they ask me, what did I learn in college that helps me in my job? And there are quite a few things academically, but what I learned about life, that those college parties, sometimes at the end of the night, those ugly girls can bring you great pleasure. These ugly games can bring you great pleasure as well. Absolutely.
You said it there, Joe Duffy. All right, but this is an ugly game that's not going to bring me any pleasure, but it's probably not going to bring me any pain either, because I don't think I'm going to bet it. The Giants are a 4 or 4.5 point home favorite. Total is 50 or 50.5. That's a high total, up from 49. And the Giants crushed Washington on Thursday night. How much of that was a bit of an anomaly and a fluke? We remember just a few weeks ago how bad they looked. Falcons got beat by Minnesota. They couldn't get any pressure on the quarterback. So, the Falcons defense might be awful. We know what the Giants' shortcomings on defense are as well. Does the extra rest help the Giants? Maybe it does. I guess if you had to make a gun to the head, I guess I would take Atlanta plus 4.5, but I'm passing on this one, and I feel bad that you have to give a public analysis on this one and maybe a lean. But what do you like here, Joe?
Yeah, well, no, Peter, I think I was saying in one of my other videos that sometimes I like to read tip sheets where I read their analysis. I don't even pay attention to their plays. I like to see what type of intel they have and then kind of synthesize it myself. And in that vein, as far as the total is concerned, people might want to consider that Atlanta is the biggest over team in the league in terms of margin of cover. We don't use it as far as over-under record because that can be deceptive if the team's barely going over the total or under the total. But margin of cover, they've gone over by an average of 12.5 points per game. Now, some people might say, okay, well, was that game against Tampa on Thursday night? Did that really distort it? 3 of the 4 games have exceeded the total by at least 20 points. The Giants are 9th in the NFL in exceeding the total by 5.1. So, my initial gut reaction was to go with the over, and if I had to pick a total, it would be. But all in all, with Atlanta's offensive line being banged up, we do question whether or not their offense can be quite that explosive, and their defense is terrible. They're last in the league in yards allowed per play, second to last in total yards allowed, second to last in sacks per pass attempt. So their defense is really struggling, and the Giants, look, I'll admit the Giants are one team that's really given me some trouble the past 2 years. Last year, I kept waiting for Eli Manning to never bounce back, and he didn't. And even though I say never over-evaluate what happened in the preseason, I thought that the Giants would have a little more sense of urgency on offense in the preseason. They didn't. And then when they looked terrible in the first 2 games, yeah, I did declare here that they were dead. But now they've come back, finally come back to life. Maybe learning the new offense this year was more than just talk, that they truly were an offense with an upside. And going against this terrible defense, I do look for the Giants to continue their offensive resurgence. And the Giants, as the pretty small favorite, should get the number here against a Falcons team that is hurting.
All right, yeah, I can certainly see that. I mean, maybe the Giants are the kind of team that against weak teams like Washington last week, you might want to bet on, and then they'll get absolutely crushed maybe when they're like a big underdog against a top team. It's just, considering how bad the Giants looked in the early weeks of the season and in preseason, like you said, now giving 4 points to any NFL team makes me a little bit nervous. But, maybe want to turn on a dime based on how they did on Thursday against Washington. Right now, -4 is a widely available number. Thanks so much, Joe.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.